another Saturday. I Ras Media yabem ene anwumre. Yanu bedi nkomo na me topic mienu ene me sampebi. Eno so kura. Ye ntentem na yafa so akoba bi. Enti na ye topics na ye de ba no kakra bi. First of all, ye bedi kan akasa fa ho. Mahama Ursula Owusu aba beyi Ewura John Mahama ene Sam George ano den enam the SIM card re-registration linking it to the Ghana card. Ewura Mahama ne Sam George emepemnra na omwa kan wo oman no mu nyina se ye Mahama Ursula Owusu, the former Minister of Communication and Digitalization, ne registration exercise, SIM registration exercise na oye no na enye papa na ye kaya kopem se na Mahama no one sabio the minister, I think say the NI minister no ne nkasa enti ama ade na nko saa asem wo ye beto abontre Mahama Ursula Owusu aba abontre beyi ne ho ano abekyerekere nsem no se de sitie ye bekasa afa ho ye firi onso ane ye ko second topic ene Stone Boy boy Stone Boy say o share that chire nyom Eddie campaign tia MPP amanyoko. Ye mebo video na nipa mpede ho asemo. Asemo mpedi po nipa ne pede ho asem. Stone Boy say o share that chichire nyom Eddie kutia MPP amanyoko. E costo ne $20,000 US. Ye beka eno ho asem. Ye free on so ana ye co difference topic. NDC mayor for Accra Ababontin na nasimo beka ene say achievement ba ko a NDC amanyokwe ba ye omo achieve pa ene say omo ba ye omo atotoga ma part amankwada be say 5,000 entina opia emo nsem emfama NDC amanyokwe e Greater Accra region. Ye free on so na abo video bi a kire wa Bulldog say ono oti hoyi campaign oyema NDC ntin bosumi bi aso a ni senior man John Darega Dramani Mahama epia sika emani different and same way na mede na mene midin any Ras Media GH meso say like video no on subscribe o ya subscribe mame fa on sesi adoma no so say de bia me ba life de bia o so no obete se maba na wa be support me na me di dwumadie no amount na onso wa support me aye dwumadie no mana ye fefe ensem when ye de nam hwehwe mo Facebook, YouTube, TikTok as Ras Media GH. Me say am de ba ye ne now answer na be shase no I want you to listen to a video. Which video we are me ba mu a na ya be shase a chekere yensem aye de nam mu de na me be bo a kire o de me bo a kire nyina ne say and I no say to be a communicator for the NDC is the most dangerous and the most difficult work. A juma mu through pie ne and so udu be you wanim say will be defend the NDC. Because social media than I say Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter no sepa. Because you cannot defend lies. Untumi defended and trauma ye because there are video evidence. I had the best support. Into the episode the video way. Now NDC ni was studios of Obi. Kwaya na husichire no. When he attempted to defend John Mahama on issue and a reality on the floor. Yes, young Quenen Kotia video message Yabaya near the main Ras Media editorial no. Like a share comment na sabi unsubscribe so no subscribe yimura mumra sisia Honorable Yariga, my senior brother, recently some program were parliament also who said the government is coming to do 24-hour economy. It is a private sector initiative. Okay, didn't you hear that comment?
Obi.
No, okay.
Okay. government was going to do it through the private sector. Yes, that's the idea here. No, like exactitude, I may not be able. But you understand that is what he said.
MSc interpretation, PhD interpretation.
No, so a lawyer. We do interpretation at the law.
I say PhD. Because Obi, but see, the more church the more perform pressure air costro. Obi, Sebi, and the Kufado, we had one district, one factory. If any program or every program that a government runs is perfect, government one DF, one district, one factory might have its challenges, but the objective was clear. The objective was to encourage the setting up of industries that will add value to our materials so that we can create jobs in the value chain. The real deal, the big deal is a 133. Now, if you are government and it is private sector you use, do you tell a private man to run 3 shifts? Is he in your bosom, Obi? Is he in the bosom of a politician to tell a businessman to run 3 shifts? Do you know what it takes to run a setup? Do you know what they call the wage bill? The person must look at his output and the money he gets and match it to his running cost, expenditure, and then be able to decide how much is left to pay workers, and then do all that math. Is it for you to go and tell it 133? So when the NDC said 133, they were not talking about a private person. They were talking about the one that they had control, which is public sector. And typical of the NDC, they speak to a 133 when the first shift out of the 3 shifts, the wage bill to cover the first shift, you don't have the money. Men, my senior is here, are trapped by their words, but bulls by their horns. Even the wage bill for the first shift, Obi, look, you think, with all due respect, John Mahama is a handsome man. He's been a president before. JM knew that on your convention conform his first step. Didn't you obia or person on you want to imagine so on him say there's something called a wage bill. But Obi, when he got to 2024, they told the whole youth that come on, instead of 1 shift, and I was on Metro and I said, come on, the only reason why you don't run 3 shifts just like that is that you have to check the wage bill of the first shift, Obi. And then Atoforce is telling you that under this recovered economy, when they pay the 3 statutory funds, he has to borrow to pay workers. He said that. You know, Atu is a fantastic guy. He's a very smart guy. He laid the preamble.
Is that he had to borrow to pay workers?
And now, until the account. No reason for all this.
Please.
Let me read. Hey, honorable constituency in Tienza on Yanagio. Nyama Kosono. Number of me MP, sometimes Uchin Saoba. Obi, this honorable 240
a quotation.
See, well, this is Obi. See this guy. This guy is an NDC blogger.
No. Let me get the
quotation.
Yes.
Report.
Yeah, please get a media report. Hey, honorable.
Tobo. Because minim till the time we are what
listen, the video is even there. Play the video.
Yes. Let me get the exact.
He said he gets 183 billion from taxes, and that when he finished paying the 3, he's left with 61 billion, and he has a wage bill of about 71 billion, and he borrows about 17 billion. All this is public figures. Hey, opposition, they research, they won't find their growth.
Yes. Your friend say, Dr. Okoboy.
Yes.
While I look for story, wrap it up, mommy. When I get it, I'll read it.
I hope you know then.
Are they?
Story. And then they might do we are papa. Now, dear me, did I know?
Battles be too.
Honorable. So, they say, I now open all your MPT. We'll give you all the respect now. The MPC. The point I'm making, say, time now promising 1 job, 3 shift, 3 people. Now, honorable at 240, you are aware. Say the previous government and the Kufado no. as a country, sika ye generate no utua district assembly common fund, utua get for now health insurance. Sika e kano, obese untua workers kwa ubre. In fact, that's why our government brought a capping policy. And they now capping yen say 17 billion na onoba took so ko borrow no. Aka obe one e kakra free district assembly common fund na capping no. Say sika de ko 100% ko na e kakra. Na yi insurance kakra, na e get fund, na ya nyaska edia tua workers momusi munya capping otua we no ato force amaya chances otua sa 3 ni wia sika ka ne nsem no Ghana workers
okay me ba doc into trouble.
Yes,
this is the finance minister.
Yes,
and as City FM shared on their Facebook page.
Yes,
I said government had to borrow 17 billion in Ghana cedis to pay public sector wages in 2025.
Yes.
Yes. No, so in 2025 or Bobusiano did workers in 2025. But let me play the voice at least for the avoidance of doubt. Now, Obie to me at the minister. This is
to take a closer look at Ghana's compensation. That the 2025 non-oil tax revenue of 183 billion Ghana cedis was only enough to pay for statutory transfers and debt service. After paying statutory funds such as District Assembly Common Fund, Get Fund, National Health Insurance, and debt service, what was left was not enough to settle Ghana's compensation bill. In fact, Government of Ghana had to borrow 17 billion Ghana cedis to augment the compensation bill. Your Excellency, I thank you.
Into a KCL at force and finance minister.
wrap up.
Yes.
Brofosi augmenta me danyama se me call le go presec. At least me tinema we asikakra. Augment chese adenu nso enti upe bibi de apia ama akosu.
Sure.
Obi. It means that even for the first shift, the 12-hour shift, 8-hour shift, this government has to borrow to meet. So Okobo, what I'm saying is that this government is the NDC as a party. Now on themselves, also run it shifts, it means you must have extra money to pay 3 times a wage bill. Obi, when you use smartness, duplicity, and you play games to get power, the victims of these games, they wait for you at the post in 3-4 years. So maybe more honorable short advice. Sometimes it is good to be calm and reflect.
Yes, abusianfo enti se wutie ni yia. NDC MP okotra kokomemre BBC ho se okodefend asem ono ankasa ne finance minister account timiye pa ekrofo we wa. So di omo achi a obesan omo ho. Asema finance minister kura betena bonten aka se omo ntumi nya sika mfa ntua Ghana banya djuma ye foka. Enti o so omo nkobo bosia na omo mfa metua aka no. Am pipa tumi kotena national radio so ya na adwene se Ghana fo ye nimu nyansa. So he's going to deceive the people again. And I made the be Americano. Branan this for a border wuro 133. You catch them say 133 no. That shift no. Say a juma bako nipa miensa ebe ya kopa hono. Enya di be nye mandatory. Hey, at insensitive be any hobe to me diama a juma wura ebe man ayeden. Afa juma ye for miensa for the same job running on shift. Unless there's only one reason a juma wura be. I decided to say, in Yuma or yono, Obama enipa miensa aye juma chrono 3 times a day. That is the demand from the market. Enonkwa enema a juma wura be. I decided to say, said the near my quid I just minya enipa miensa mbeye a juma chrono 3 times in a different hours a day. Enonkwa. But Belana na ye kano. And this if for come yet say it is more about the public sector. Into a KSA passport, Ghana Passport Office, and this if for promises they are going to have 3 shifts in the office. DVLA, I think so many lances and for And this if can say they are going to do double shift. You can't say that the police for the nurse, for the doctors, and they are doing 3 shift already. And this is the 3 shift, but yeah, now that means you are going to apply that at the, you can say, the government agencies are holding on our cano. But you know, mobile, you know, the NDC is telling you, say, it is through the private sector and one job, 3 person. Now, if that is so, yeah, then how another Danko Kufuado shall agenda one district, one factory, no? That was the best solution. And Sadi Ronaldo Anyene out of Prumo, it was an initiative for the buyer said the importation of goods and service goods, especially outside the country, and then a junky economy, no? No. But Nkrofo one job, 3 people, no? One, as soon as they stood in power, what they brought in, they say, Sa Adiana and Kebe to me a boy. I'm a drum pempen, so be a baby say, we need 3 people to do one thing a day, no? Nkrofo no almost agenda 111, no? They are not going to continue. Sorry, one district, one factory, they are not going to continue. So, through which means, Yanko Kama Yanko Tia, John Dalagat Ramani Mahama said, oh, see 24-hour market across the country. Now say, oh, see stores. Eja, amayaton niyama 24 hours. Sa niyama no mobile betono. Ehe nebekwa for free. Approachly. Which means say, the no, se betimi asosidi mpona, you are still bringing trouble and pressure on our economy. Because enye locally produced goods, and na obeye day. Obe promote. Nambum no, you are given a space for the foreign goods to be sold in the country. Omo eden, omo abon. Ekese omo abon ana wate ase. Omo abon, they don't know what they are talking about. And this if we need free governance education. Free education for governance. They need it so that they can understand. Because the Ombekano, they do contrary to what they promise the people. Now, let's move into our main story. Mami Fatiaka kra Emma Mimia Osei Anthony. I Mimia fisherman. I see greetings family. Mima si Asare Bia or say hi. And I mama Diana Pia, Mame or what to say. Bon Saba to say that, yeah. Yento asuna yenko yanim na yemfa the main issues of the editorial no emrew. Na answer na de beba me so se bo modern na share video no na like comment na yenhu na yenchia kama said yes na efata founsa esi adoma no so se de be ya me the video tum brebia na obey one of the first people on sabeka na obeka me ho na de dwumadie no abrew. Yen start na yenhia yes, I see the first na Rebecca Safa home. The SIM card re-registration. Linking your SIM card to what? To the Ghana card. We a new young can say new tina trendy Ghana pa. Ninyana say Yura Sam George. Our year the MP for Nimgo Pram. Our year the Minister for Communications, Ababonton said, and now Meno Kasei, I was a Ghana Maimu, Obibia, and sign and register the SIM card de Kitano, na on link to his or her Ghana card. Asem when can yet trouble bill. Nobody have an issue with it, but I didn't hear about a trending issue on the media. Ninyirane say, the kofa ba ninyirane. Brana Sam George wo opposition no. One of Nkrofo form time pa no come ho nsem edi di omo atem on the media space. Egu omo ani ma say on the media space. Na ye maame a ye frɛ ne Ursula Owusu at that time no Onumbom and now ye the communication minister under the MPP government. Mami we wasem and I make a minim say Semokaina. Where is she? But your mami we asem and I make Mami we and wasem and I make your friend Mami Ursula Owusu, the former minister for communication. Mami we Sam George, efa ne ho time pa kan nsɛm ahodoɔ fa maame ho. Anything a maame we ye ni the communication ministry ho no. Sam George enya kwam bi so fa so criticize no. Ka de nye de mfata kyerɛ maame. One of the issues that Sam George tackling very very serious. Egu maame anim ase. Ekreti even adeɛ bi ɔsɛ friend stubborn academy ɛyɛ abra ye maame Ursula Owusu ba abɔnten bɛka sɛ obi bia emra na ye link ye Ghana card no to our SIM card said ye be ya ye be de avoid what we call fraud ɛwɔ mobile money for ensam anaasɛ ɔmo ye frauding ɛwɔ communication through the phone and all those things and other things. Mami beka same way. Sam George, ehurutia ye mami Ursula Owusu ne council for almost all the time. Mami na all campaigning and as na all ye advocacy said the beya Ghana for ebe pia bonten akwa SIM registration. Sam George na onye only criticizing on the political level or sense form country NDC for say a more monko enkonko register or SIM card and link it to their Ghana card. Or ye did that hodoa. But yankopa na ompe bone ya mamento aso. In fact, the re-registration of the SIM card no and na monsama Sam George eka yentino. It came to a point to say Ursula Owusu must to extend. Now say on my moon on for date ne being home because NDC for are no muti Sam George. They decided say they are not going to what? They are not going to re-register their SIM card. Actually, and omuti omuhuase and omukoyesa SIM registration. No. Na nyankopa na ompe bone na ope se ungu anim ase odi kan bo wodam. Ebo modena MNDC edi nkunim sebe ya ensema na omo kan opposition no Ghana for especially the Gen Zs obia behu the reality of this party called NDC enti omudi nkunim so nyankopon chaade John Dramani Mahama appointed Sam George to become the Minister of Communication. Na minim say on this focus ya baby ye meeting chair positions at the ma omoho in opposition say obia position I dey ma ono ni Paul ye adwuma ho no tanania I don't know, but what I have seen and say if you look at the ministers ane omo edi oman no eso a minister bia no ba bia di na si ene no during the propaganda period no sa ministry ho no e na no ye ne propaganda ko ebini Sam George Minister of Communication wamfana ni agro ebini Samuel Oku Jato Abrakwa Foreign Minister wamfana ni agro kra ke card opechre no yewia Kofi Amabua Minister of Land and whatever wamfana ni agro kra o card opebia kire no metimi abobo akoyanim akirechiro se enkrofo no bedi akonwa no ba bia na omo ese ho no ehɔ na omo didi ene yento aso ne enkoyanim abusia na da bia mekese they lack initiatives and this for they lack initiatives so omo beye bibi foforo miya ba di mai Sam George nya akwanya beye Minister of Communication Adi awasha ase opese after 1.5 years in his ministry, apart from say onoma kwan ema yetwa medical drone delivery system no ade ba ko Sam George si obeye ne and he said he is going to do SIM card re-registration and linking it to the Ghana card. Now, Papa, you can't same way. Obviously, media no videos know why says Sam George opposed this proposal from the minister of the former minister from communication. And the videos now pop up. Questions are Sam George bisa and then ababa relevant you bet to me bisa Sam George so the same questions. Now, dear woman ye, and I'm Sam George in the muse. What dim kwasiasem concerning the SIM card re-registration tino. Otene huase se ononkwa ni dawuru bo bebono entimi convince Ghana for more mon konko register card no because we di kan adintro as can say sade na hu hia even to the point say Sam George be na no kan kire Ghana for say ontia say de ntia ye di only Ghana card na betumi register your SIM card e ma ne bobo sabio emra bi li hwan and hwan a kire say obetum the Ghana card ayo obetum the passport ayo obetum the driving license aye but ene Sam George ni re-registration we okwa akoye ene osi the Ghana card nko na ye de beye ah tebi ye pa no videos wa me bo akire be let ma me kire Sam George no ye press conference say Nanado should call Ursula Owusu to order because Ursula Owusu is violating the laws of the country. Adentia Ursula Owusu say yemfa only the Ghana card and enye dey link it to our SIM card. Sam George Babonte be ye press conference e be video natural. Now enam say Sam George nim say waka nsem fon bebrai ne ono repeat the same thing. Na ye Mahama Ursula Owusu nso aba abonte aba be kan kire say say adwuma na Sam George ye no it make no sense. A create job for the boys and na ye and so ye be read ni nyina akire. Enam sa asunti no yewura Sam George e shera kopa ajo Mahama chew say omfa na no ntumu bi na se wamfa na no antumu bi a ebeye dwene se Ghana fo betie ono Sam George ne nsem o kaaye na ye nyina so enim se Papa John Dariga Dramani Mahama oye kontompo ni po ni mutro dipa enti se wo sira ne se omeye propaganda o medi ntroma wa he know how to go with it. Yewura John Mahama begina simpie so na ano e wodoma ahinkrom e kan kire Ghana fo se osre Ghana fo pa yenko na yenkonko ye SIM re-registration no because there ye Mahama Ursula Owusu ye ne ebere bi atwam no according to ono John Mahama ne kwasi ampanyi Sam George no na eye neatness na emfaso ni so na enhu nhiase ebeye na according to what John Mahama say okay ya ema ye Mahama Ursula Owusu edi nia no ba kese pa ne say say Mahama Ursula Owusu ene nipa na ohwe no ye the in charge of the national identification authority no ose no ne no enkasa enti enam sa asunti no they were not able to link their SIM cards to the national identity card. Mahama be kan asem we wie no ene ye Mahama Ursula Owusu si da bi ba bia nema ne kono ense emfata enti Mahama Ursula Owusu aba abonten a odi a full rate na ba abonten a odi eyi John Mahama ene ne minister Sam George ano ye ba be kan ensem Mahama Ursula Owusu atwere na watie bi said ye be ya so what is Sam George na media num and this if when a media num say yenkoye re-registration because the Ursula Owusu ye na enya what you say omoboa a way to make money because omo ni adwen fufuro bi omo de be create omo de be ye bibibi na omo timi de contract ama obi enti de Mahama ne ye na omo criticize ye no they wants to do the same thing. Mahama na church written na wa but I was say unye patient na wunti asem na Mahama ne ka ye nyina Now what say, in fact, John Dariga Dramani Mahama, even though he has won the election, still he failed to be on a campaign platform. Temiepa. Mahama has won the elections, but he is conducting himself as if he's still on a campaign platforms, and it is very sad. Because Babianka Mahama drew a nay. Was a president to be me. I was saying Kaseme be pure numa be free upon Tim Biano. Any serious matter. But our man John Dariga keeps on becoming comedian, deceiver, trickish, liar, boss the Mukauda. Anything that he talks about. Etie babeko ni akwa kutie. Asema Yewura Mahama kan, but answer beko asema Yewura Mahama kan ye no. Let me yenti asema Mahama kan etie.
Big push. Abayin bia yankobo obosia wo bibia se de big push. Ya yesika. Jene stampa ya yesika. Obia kapren kan ho. Sunjani outer ring road ya yesika. And sikano eta ho. Enti makacha contractor ko ni nyina say ye wadwuma ntem na fa o certificate bra ni ntua oka. Enti meka say ejuma o ma ye bi
Abujan for mon fanche na papa odin tronti aya na ama ne ma ne bi afun from yeso mesremo yeah ma video no nie
registration no some betia emre bi atwa mu.
Yes, enti asema e ba ye ne me ma me Esther Keba ni ma me mo akwaba ma me Diana who adwuma mana. In any case, asama John Mahama emeka ye no anyway. Abra Sam George who say on to me defend ne ntro ne nkwase asema wadi no e na okofre entrofo hene ne say omra na omra mebidim amanfo ani so tie asema Mahama kan ye concerning the Ghana card link to the SIM card FN SIM card re-registration 2023 2022 2023 yanko emresisia
SIM registration no some betia emre bi atwa mu yesi nyina embetwa ye SIM foforo na edio how kese ebai okwa na MTN na si canopy na nipa te ase na ye frɛ baako edio how by kopem se ye wie ye nyina say ne anim say Minister of Communications are all SIM registration no na one National Identification Authority page no na o mon kasa
wow
na e say
pacho temiye pa o temiye ndi asemu ya papa panyine we gina ho okan huh? How can this be acceptable by the statesman called John Mahama? Omonkasa. We namfofa na mpratwe asema na say issues of national security purpose emfa ho no say oni nipa no muntam de wo. Be yen keep on enti papa.
Muntem enye papa. Enti se wo SIM registration e was say wo de bata national registration ho se ne be ya your phone number yetimi hu se sa number yi e nana suma hene dia if you say you register you the Ghana card atoso enti se number no ko ye bibia ni e trace a ibe hu se nana suma hene e number areho sam e wo ho ne se ya nya ne sa ye ko twa SIM card foforo keke HSM faso bie ni so enti afa SIM card registration here Minister of Communications ebeye no ye de be link wo Ghana card na sa SIM card no ntimi nsesa Ghana card da so da enti bibia ebesi bia ye sa SIM card no ye be hu se eye asimesi dia ana eye we dia na eno the way ayebeye no enya dia obekwa akọ yes santene na wakɔtwa card foforɔ yɛde code bi bɛba wo phone so na aka sɛ twerɛ wo din enter wo Ghana card number.
Yes, enti abusuafo ensem wei na yewura John Mahama ebeka na wabonten ebegu ne ho anim ase ebedi ntro a ensem fata egu ye maame Ursula Owusu ne so. Na maame ti asem wei anya ne de kura ena oba abonten e de rating wei ebeto ho. Ose rebuttal statement on SIM re-registration fast hold. I have deliberately refrained myself commenting on events in the communication sector since I left office a little over a year ago, but I'm compelled to set the record straight when the President of the Republic himself repeats fast holds. Mami, the all canono, or see us, why you're not using concasa, emfa, na soye, but your year juma eho asembiem. But when we send Yewura John Mahama, the President of the Republic, so he must to come and set the record straight. I say, I have heard the comments made by the President Mahama in the Bunu region on the SIM registration exercise. And I must say that a number of the comments he made are far from the truth. And my minister was say my papa na kasa. No be to me the insense in book. As a former state woman say, John Mahama, ninsem o kan ye no. Bebre na ni nyina e ya de bia ene nokore e bo bra bebre. Also let us be clear. Let us be clear from the beginning. The 2022-2023 SIM re-registration exercise did not come out of nowhere. It is exercise no mo ye no. Enye so mo da so de ya no mo kese mo koreye SIM registration in 2022-2023. I say it became necessary. Na ya de ana ho hia pa because the old SIM registration exercise done in 2010-2011 was not effective. I say now also among SIM registration because the omo ye ne NDC for ye ne 210 and 211 no na entumi nya adwuma was saying ye. I said that area process did not have any proper validation system due to the lack of any max identification document. Yenyina yenim say sa abre no no SIM cards no ye ne kwa documents na de koye ye no na enye documents bi ye authentic na etumi kire enipa say we nipa we no kura na onye no kure. I say towards the end of that exercise, some attempts were made to verify some registrations through the passport office, but that process was manual and very few Ghanaians had passport anyway. Honestly, who would confidently say whether those manual verification were right or wrong? That is not the kind of credible system a country should rely on. Timamene said, "Sa exercise no mo ye no. Enam se na ye ne Ghana card a biometric intino system no verification na enye authentic." Chese na obia to me Ghana card ne voters ID card. Ukona wakotwe date ne birth of date ya upe, udin ya upe, nobody controls that. But with the Ghana card it was different. I say that is why we introduce a more structured and legal compliant process tied to the Ghana card. So another process by ya. Enam se yenim se Ghana card na ye biometric. Na enin trontino enintia de buy. The idea was simple. See idea no. The nyinasono omode yes ade na very simple. If SIM card are being used in Ghana, then they must be linked to a proper national identity system as required by law. That was the whole point. I say, I think I have to quit explaining into the tree because I need to say material for many of you are already well educated. So while I'm reading, you can understand it. I see, the process itself had two stages. First, people entered their Ghana card details through a process, through a short code. Those details were checked with the National Identification Authority. And Mahama said, was the Owusu now on Identification Authority in Kasa Obwa. Mami say, Adiana no on the first stage, Now a man for yes, and the short code mawa now the wurem. Now National Identification Authority so I confirm, I verify no Oma confirm that the information was correct. After that, the individual moved to the second stage, which involved data capture and biometric registration, including facial and fingerprint capture. I say every active SIM card being used today on the mobile network is therefore linked to a Ghana card, and that is an incontrovertible fact. Mahama si yan kana tell ho ase say Mahama be kan kire o say Ghana card no anase SIM card na ekura Ghana fo enne no enye link to Ghana card a Mahama si omoboa because o see enne adwuma na omo ye enti no every phone number bi e wo Ghana man mo ye adwuma enne bia no eye in one way or the other no linked to an identity card in Ghana card. Also now, a lot has been said to create the impression that the problem with the exercise were because of personal issues or bad blood between institutions. What must hear? That is simple not true. I have known Professor Ateifua for many years, and at no point in time did we ever stop speaking to each other, either personally or professionally. We may have had this disagreement, but I'm too professional to allow difference of points of view to affect my work in any day. The only issue was that the National Identification Authority did not allow the SIM registration system to connect to their database for biometric verification at the second stage. That was their challenge. This, however, did not prevent us from compiling a comprehensive database of all active SIM cards in Ghana. And I thank all well-meaning Ghanaians once again for their cooperation, which ensured that the mass registration exercise was successfully completed with the registration of almost 30 million SIM cards. The SIM cards about 30 million, and I'm a link here to Ghana card. But Mahama say one link because now as the Owusu and Professor Teifa and Kasa and Kontumpo President Oya gossip. Was it that SIM registry database exists and it is hosted securely by the National Electronics Transaction Regulator (NITA) in the National Data Center. Enti Mahama say, John Mahama and Nkrofo say ya nyesa SIM card linked to Ghana card ya. Also omunko National Electronic Transaction Regulator office database no ho munkofa no munya so mo ha Ghana for adwense ensampe registration. And yet, despite the limitation, what do we know today? We know that when an audit was conducted in 2025, more than 80% of the facial biometric captured matched with the data in the NIA base. In 2025, we are not John Mahama Expossed. Audit. With the SIM card link, no. You say 80% of all what was done in 2022-2023, no. Now they were all linked properly to a valid national identification card. Eti Mahama, come back and explain to us. This is important. This is important. That means the process was not some useless or empty exercise as they are now desperately trying to suggest. In fact, it shows that the major part of the work has already been done. All that is left now is for the less than 20% being biometrically valid in what can only be done, what can only be done stage 3 of what we started. That is all. And Mahama can check. John Mahama said, adwuma na omo ye ya omo betena abonten e ka kire Ghana for say maame na link sim cards no to the Ghana card no maame ne say omo po omo nko nita ho omo ko ho aye database wo ho a links na omo ye no 30 million people no sim card na omo link ye no 80% of them are completely and verified and valid Ghana card in the Alenke. I'm say the Akan say the 20% now omo enye verified no. That is what John Mahama and his government want to do. Enti emo bi antie de Mahama ne Sam George be kan kire say Ursula Owusu-Ekuful ye no ye nkwase adwuma oboa. Adwuma na maame ye no e wo ho e valid and it is e ya de bi obetumi de ehun hia mpo say sa nkrofo no besen akọ akwakwe the same work. So the question is simple. If they say the previous exercise had no value or no data, then where did the 80% verification results came from? Because said the all kind of 2025. And this is for mona na motia kunya so. Enti se na mo se adwuma na maame ne ye no. Eye nkwase adwuma obisa mo se e ba ne se na 2025 mo de beto abonten se 80% of the 30 million SIM card ye register your link to Ghana card ye papa no e ba ne sen e na mo ba abonten e be ka sa asem no yento aso na yenko yenim. O say what data did they use for that audit? Enti kwame some of us omo yes ahwehwemu no. You cannot say on one hand that there was no data and then on the other hand, use audit outcome based on that same exercise. No, sorry. I say, let me take it again. I say, you cannot say on one hand that there was no data, and then on the other hand, use audit outcome based on that the same exercise. This is contradictory. This is contradictory. That is dishonest. Mami na dwampo aka ho. Bon lavoro mami Diana. Mami na se dwa aka ho. O se ensem na Mahama ne na akwa na kan nyina no. Eye ntro, eye nkontompo. Eye assembly ye bossre muka. Ekre how dishonest these guys are. Yento asune make the last reading. If it is also important for Ghanaians to know that the SIM card registration exercise was not a fixed process that never changed. It kept improving. We learned lessons as we went along. And based on those lessons, the process evolved. By the time we were leaving office, there was already a self-registration app. In place for people to register themselves. So when this government comes to power, when this government comes to present the same approach, when this government comes to present the same approach as though it is something brand new, that is simply not true. As I'm going to say, a Jumana Kwasiafu Ekwe a repeating of what they have done, because sa young can say and Mahama so Mundi code eba not what register hono. My minister before they left office, they have already put in place that app. What is some judge doing? Nonsense, nothing. Yento aso. He said that is simple, not true. What are they using now? A short code, question mark. An app, a smartphone-based process, biometric registration. Until my manager say, system no build that is what they are using. I say, but are these not the same things we already introduced? So what exactly is new here? Sam George, you have a question. We were proactive and made effort to improve, convince, and assess through constant monitoring and evaluation of the process. There were measures put in place to make the system easier for consumers, as we respond to the real challenge people face during the process. This was not a government sitting down and doing nothing. It was a work in progress, and it was progressing smoothly. Another success of that exercise, which cannot be ignored, is that it pushed many Ghanaians go and get their Ghana card. That alone was a major national gain. The exercise helped strengthen the national identification system in a very practical way. We also put in place short code for people to check the SIM card linked to their Ghana card. That improved transparency and gave consumers a way to monitor what was tied to their identity. We all know which people actively discourage people from acquiring the Ghana card, claiming that they had boycotted the registration process. We also know those who tried to sabotage the SIM registration process, proudly tagging themselves as the Stubborn Academy. Maybe that is why there is concerned effort to denigrate a largely successful exercise. I mean, say, or not, say, enam nsɛmfo ne nkwasiasɛm a Sam George na NDC for ye. Abra no ye Jumano. Enam sa nim guasie tiri na ene, omo pese omo enim tromfa ne ho, na omo nse ne ho, enkyere Ghana for, say, adwuma na oye na wanye ne yie. In fact, maame si okai NDC for omo sha say Ghana for nkoye same registration. Maame si okai the Stubborn Academy. Ebi ana onkaya, maame mo ehun video nkyere o. Na yensan enye den ento ase obi bia o hatie.
Stubborn Academy. No SIM card registration. Stubborn Academy. Stubborn Academy. Stubborn Academy. Don't register or SIM many or register. Stubborn Academy. Let's extend it again. I'll get it to extend to December. Stubborn Academy. Stubborn Academy. We don't want to do. No registration.
Yes, enti maamena asem na okano enye ntro na odi eye reality enkrofo ne begina bonten say Stubborn Academy, they are not going to register and they are not going to allow people to register. Enti na omo aba ye won nipa ne binu mo ho a omo registration omo ye na enye papa e wo se nka sa nipa no nko a ene ye hwe omo achi akwan na nka yenye verification no said de be akwase ampanyi no be nya sika obeye budget kese na wanya bia wie enti no ase Ghana fo nyina should do the same exercise. Video no na maboache yento aso. Or say, and let us not pretend otherwise. One of the reasons the exercise moved people to act was because deadlines were set. A strategy. I said, the entire man for to go so quite yes, exercise and say, omo the deadline at also. Yes, deadlines were extended where necessary. By the deadlines created urgency. They pushed people to register. So now the question for this current government is the question for this current government is, would they be bold enough to say there would be no deadlines? Because if they also introduce deadline and extension, then are they not doing exactly what they criticize? And this formula no me ya no na me dem ntebrofo asem na ma American menti ase charity nyano me mo akwa papa brofo no momra no me ya no o say that is why we are saying this government should stop pretending that it is starting afresh or doing anything new. It should stop acting as though nothing meaningful was done before now. Governance is continuity. Governance is continuity. Yanto aso. Ehobi must say, you cannot lie about a process, dismiss it in public, and then turn around and do the same thing again. If the previous method was so wrong, why are you repeating the same methodology, the same structure, and the same approach? You cannot condemn a process in the morning, copy it in the afternoon, and come back in the evening to claim you have invented something new. Sam George, Mamena Bubo Wasumupa. We believe that. Timiyepa. I hope say me read the no. Motima say ye. Minim ebiana ma sentrenya mutimikana mate ayusu the American pepper. I say we believe that where praises is due, praises must be given. The previous exercise was not perfect, but it created a foundation. It introduced a structure, verification, accountability, and a path towards credible SIM registration regime. That fact can never be denied. The Ghanaian people deserve honesty, deserve consistency, and they deserve a leaders who will build a process, who will build on a progress made by their predecessors instead of erasing it and lying about it for cheap politics. When you maya men say meeting, Miss Ursula Owusu-Ekuful of Achim Oda Brekum, Aduama and Dansoman, former Minister for Communication and Digitalization, 20th of March 2026. You got it? You got it. If you don't got it, forget about it. Jamie Yepa, when we said about one former MP with just one statement, with just one statement, what to me, ya ban or tear kunyasun animas. Actually, be say ya ban or panyin, your mum panyin or tear kunyanosuno, or your contompony, or your nabra bunny. Also, why as a mess the Usu say, or go animas. Why ya mess the Usu are on Casa? Baba be go animas. Oh, Richard, you're welcome. It's never late. It's never late. I hope say me read the Namotias. It is never late. But what man say yepa? One say ne. John Mahama, aya my ne. One former minister, a jina bonting, a gum papa yani masise on any minister in Omoye Kotumpo. See, even active SIM card registered between two in Ghana is linked to a Ghana card. And how can you? Me a menoti hai. Yenina yenteha. And I yet say because of the Ghana card linked to Ghana SIM numbers and a SIM card and ne chronobonako form. How can Mahama and John Sam George come to us and look into our faces and tell us say Achuma ma many yete hunsem ewo yenkole wa manone say ne the fraudulent activities are na ekoso phone so eso atwa no ana aba form no. How can this man come today and tell us say no correct? How come? I do know what is more and more yankane say the ma bufo pa bra maami we exercise we ya o kan say enam se Ghana card no kwan ye fa so a ye process ye no authentic, different from kwan ye fa so a ye ma voting ID card, health insurance and as for driver license bibi no ho a enko yie entry pese ntumi enhu owners of SIM numbers na yemfa Ghana card ye no. Sam George by ye conference edidi ma menatem but ene Sam George, the stupid Sam George is demanding say Yemfa only Ghana card and enquest activity no. Yantron a video no need.
Against any attempt to illegally carry out what should be a legal mandate. We have maintained that the Parliament of Ghana has passed only one legislation for the registration of SIM cards. That legislation is LI 2006, which is known as the Subscriber Identity Model Registration Regulations. It remains a wonder and worry why the minister will want to abandon LI 2006, which is specific to SIM registration, and rely on another legislative instrument, LI 2111. LI 2006, which is specifically for the creation of a national identification register, cannot be used as the enabling law for SIM registration in Ghana. It defies simple logic and any technical explanation. Let us be clear. When Parliament passes specific legislative instruments, these legislative instruments are not omnibus laws. They are specific legislations that have specific use and so cannot be taken for. So, for example, you cannot take an LI for DVLA's operations and apply same to the operations of SNIT or the Bank of Ghana. Now let us explain what LI 2006 says in section 2. And I read, a network operator or service operator shall register a subscriber identity model, SIM, of a subscriber. It goes on to say that the registration must provide, the registrant must provide to the network operator. The things it asks the registrant to provide are the date of birth in the case of an individual, the date of incorporation in the case of a body corporate or company, the date of registration in the case of a partnership or unincorporated body of persons, and to show an identification document. This is what the law says. The law does not end there. In section 10 of that LI, it defines what an identification document is. And this is what it says. It gives 6 definitions for identification document. 1, a valid driver's license. 2, a valid national health insurance identification card. 3, a valid Ghanaian passport. 4, a valid Ghanaian voter's identification card. 5, a valid national identity card, or what we call the Ghana card. Or 6, any other valid form of identification document the minister may determine by publication in the Gazette. For the avoidance of any doubt, the 6 document types that have been stated in the law are acceptable for registration of SIM cards per the legislative instrument of Parliament. Only one of these cards can no longer be used by virtue of the court's ruling in the Abu Ramadan versus Electoral Commission case, which said that the national health insurance card is not a valid determinant of Ghanaian citizenship. However, a Ghanaian driver's license, a passport, a voter's ID card, or a national ID card, which we call the Ghana card, are legal and acceptable identification documents passed into law by the Parliament of Ghana. We are asking why the Minister for Communications and Digitalizations, through the NCA, is avoiding the use of the other 3 documents and insisting that we must use only the Ghana card. Ghana is governed by laws, and the respect for our laws and the respect for Parliament, which the minister is a member of, is sacrosanct.
Asema papa ika ye nyina asema oka ye nyina ne se onti ase de nti a me maame Ursula Owusu eka se yemfa Ghana card mko a enem koye SIM registration nti onti ase but me kan ade na kire onti ya maame ne se enam so mo kan se wamfa wo Ghana card anko register wo SIM card a omo betwa wo SIM card mu nti na ebo a ye ma Ghana fo bebre koye Ghana card abra na omo mpese omo beye eno so nyina no enkwasiafo we asiedu nkatianom ene kangu amanfo tim se mo omo nkoye Ghana card. But the question asema papa yi kan emra o kan nyina se emra binu mo ho eno so ye ndc fo emra 2000 I think 2006 ene ye MPP fo emra ana sa abre no mo enam se na ye ne proper identification document ntino ne ye so betim the birth certificate ne nkwase anema bi akoye SIM registration ene nti ana fraud no koso a na ye hu anipa oye the actor of that fraud temi ye pa enam se na ye de nkwase ankrata na ye card ntino na obi di nkwase asem e wo phone so a you cannot trace to get that person. And in the sense of an intelligent person e can say that be yemfa biometric Ghana card na enye SIM registration said ye be ya Udi di boni a yebehu. Kwasi ampanyi we begyina bontan se onte ase da. Ema ye mfa Ghana card mko enye SIM registration. But ene mi bisawo. Mi nwa barima. Sa SIM registration exercise wa Sam George si enkonkoye no. Me pa cho. Dia no se mfa nkonkoye. Voters ID card, national identification card, passport, birth certificate, ana dia. Abusia wa ho. When you lie to people, when you deceive people, when you criminally organize a propaganda machinery to deceive people for power, bra, ye de tumi no mawa ebefron. Tumi no befron because in contemporary nabraba na wadie no, watwa no. Ye kesi ye gu ho a. Se wonye obi a se bi wo ye mentehwe emfa me ho a, you'll be even ashamed to appear publicly. Entine, sa video me bo kire osisi ai. As Sam George said ne, Ghana card nko a na opese yemfa nye the SIM re-registration. Aya no kura hu hia. Se me bo video we kire no, abra a o ka se yemfa Ghana card nko a nko SIM registration. What will be his reaction? Dishonest personality. Question here very simple. And then me bo video where it said John Darega enemy kwasi ampanyini odin tro I di boro I hippopotamus Sam George say asem we na wo kan ni berebi adenti I ne wo kan kire me say me the same thing that you were criticizing there no beka obebo ni ti ase na watwimuko. This is the reason why you go find John Darega ba say o medin tro emfa nkire ne supporters say the me Esther na no oka. Now what is a John Darega kasa now what is a manfo e bom nsem a omo ye nkrofo a John Mahama Expossed bia ye the bus esisa won ekokuro no so say bia papa ne kasa omo be bom nsem because the ordinary Ghanaian they are not going to hear Jumano. I believe say whatever this man will stand on a podium to tell you no. About 75% nina yentro. Enti ekwa adise sesa nkwasi afodi omochi. So dim say Ghana yetimi kwasesa amanfo kura so omunkosu ma yie. Amanfo bi yetu omuka. Ema wa yie unimu so a yekosuma ho. The same thing. Enti Mahama Expossed no asesa nkwasiafo agu ka no. Ya sheda packet nkrofo agu ka mu. Ne de obokọ so omunye den. Omunko bo omunsem ma Mahama. Asem bia Mahama bekam bia no. Omummo omunsem. Bajo tie me yepa. This is what we are living. This is the reality on the floor. Sa the SIM registration exercise na. Omusi eye nationwide no. Eye krono juma kesiye because about 28 million SIM cards in Ghana are being linked to Ghana card. But John Mahama have the courage to come in front of you. Who are we going to to Obama no? No be didn't throw away actually.
Bibia ewo sa code no so. Some obetia emre bi atwa mu. Yesi nyina embetwa yesem foforo na edio how kese ebai okwa na MTN na si canopy na nipati ase na ye frɛ obaako edio how by kopem se ye nyina say ne anim say Minister of Communications are all SIM registration no na one National Identification Authority pengen no na omon kasa na eche omuntem enye papa enti se wo SIM registration a e wo se wo de bata national registration ho se ne be ya ye fa number yetimi hu se sa number yi e nana suma hene dia if you say ya register ya de Ghana card atoso. Enti se number no ko ye bibia Near Tresia, Ibus and Anasumahine, a number.
Mpacha what in ye pa? Uti asam papa ikaye. Asem okin a contradiction. Why in a wagan and a mine more bit to me than says in Busan SIM card de Kitano, any link to his Ghana card. Who send the Ghana more money akomobia. As soon as you dial the number, the name of the person will come. Adentia, because it is linked to Ghana card. John Aden. Adentia, what there was you change your attitude. Why a campaign and when you giant running contompo na ye an honest statement. Na ye mau respect that it is true. Now what jama Sam George kwasi ampanyi no way. Edo presidency dia agroma da so gu ho ani mase e kire wo man mafo no. Na tio. Go kwasi ampanyi ni ye kasa nyina hwede oye. So who? Obua way. Ready. Or your minister no dim kwa asema no ni o. To minister no dim kwa asem no. Wani abra wo ka wa asem no, ono obu atopa. Jimmy. Faris apia na asem. Jimmy. I wani abre no. Osi obu atopa on fa on kuna. So, these guys are useless. They are weak in mind and they cannot. Mahama Ursula Owusu, and our sepa. Every MPP member thanks you for coming out to set the record straight. Mahama Ursula Owusu, the response no, and a DBC, but yeah, but also na yakasa afansem from. The message like video no, share mame, comment it. Na se unyan subscribe nso a na abo modern na wa subscribe na oba be ka abusuankuo kese no eho. Hey. Ensem ofie ha o. Ensem ha. Ensem ha pa. Ensem ha. Yeba. Video ben na sesei ye de bremo. Abusuan His
Excellency, the President of our land, I'm so privileged to meet him in this manner. And when we talk about contributions, I believe that my contribution has been very significant in actually winning power for the NDC, I so say. Because everybody has heard, mainly because I'm somebody who really believes in reset. So per my own judgments, I made sure that that music was dropped within a moment where there was some ease in the system because it was so tensed, and I dropped it in terms of contributions. And before I even spoke, the song in the background was well put together under 24 hours by me and an able team of producers. Cost to the tune of at least $20,000, which that has gone. I've taken care of that already, so that is like something present.
Pacho what in a year pa? One kasa wasum. Stone boy, boy. Abusia, and then see a free education more. Stone boy, a part of it. And then a teacher for Omunyo market here, Stone boy. A part of it. Said nurses, omunyo market ya. Sa Stone boy no, he's part of it. Se Ghana kokwa for omusika yentumi mfa momo because of mismanagement. Stone kwasia boy or you're part of it. And now me no ka say, se dum so asanya ba wo area na untumi enya light emfa nya juma enna ho emfa momframa emfa nya wunyuma. Stone boy, boy, okahubi, we eye, ono ankasa, na numasem. Stone say, Nenyom na ode ba ye. Na anu ye na okofa ba ye no ose eye orchestrated song a osheda e prepare ye say ode ba betu MPP amanyuko no afira konwam. Wanka sauti no wasum. Now I don't know why you say asem mpeni pa o. Enipa ne pe ne ho asem. Asem ho ya mpeni pa o. Asem mpeni pa. Asem mpeni pa o na nipa ne pe ne ho asem wate. Enti sana ye na mho nyina. Upon all what Nanado and the MPP government did in power, Emma actors in the country. Actors in the country. Munya kwenya Emma mohoso. Globally. Sana stone boy. Nadjunim. Enena enkoye. When I'm talking about this, man can't tell me say I'm making you know the year of return. The year of return. December GH. Me mama Monica be mwako abapa. December GH. The year of return. December DH. Afrochella. All these initiatives were initiatives Minister of Tourism and Culture and introduce you under Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration. Sa event no. And then they put Ghanaian music to the global market. Sa event no. And then the local artists or more Ghana Maimu December Edra Omutumi cash out a lot of money. But Stoneboy say, even though he was enjoying, but enam so yen DC ninti or sheda etna se trenyum ebody tia MPP amanyuku no said the ebeya ombefira konwam. Foolishness. The year pa ono na eka o me manka says ebi ana Stoneboy or NDC no ono na eka or see I contributed to the NDC winning power in 2024 with a song or share that prepare and now drop on getting to the voting time ono na eka tio MPP abanya obetra konwa so creative artists na asefo ye promote mu to the level say ene mu ye millionaires ye ura Nanado MPP abanyoku odi the year of return bar system mu enam so ma the black Americans Jamaicans Jamaican my people now if you come back home here omoba fie ne mo belenke ya enam so ma mo be famous no. The greedy Stoneboy, the importance and what actually the MPP government did for the artists in the country. Now, if an ordinary Ghanaian etnasina or condemn what happened in 2022 and 2023. Now, okay, say Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo na anye na juma year. I have no problem with it because we are ordinary person only access to outside. But we beat is our Stoneboy. I will run all the group. Unim the cause so COVID, Ukraine, Russia war they happen everywhere in the world. Now to me katawani, I want to say the way Jimmy for. Now we condemn a government. Ono na enam no so a mumunya access to the global market. Jimmy. So ahu. Ya wu na wa Jimmy a. Ya si prako, ubetime dware ne 70 times. Ubetime dware ne 70 times. Uja na odene ho koto atechem. These are the people. Or see he sang the song. Na anu ye na kokofa ba yo ene no anu jejereje. Or see he did it. just to push NPP away from power. Listen to the video again and we continue.
To His Excellency, the President of our land, I'm so privileged to meet him in this manner. And when we talk about contributions, I believe that my contribution has been very significant in actually winning power for the NDC, I so say. Because everybody has heard, mainly because I'm somebody who really believes in reset. So per my own judgment, I made sure that that music was dropped within a moment where there was some ease in the system, because it was so tensed, and I dropped it in terms of contributions. And before I even spoke, the song in the background was well put together under 24 hours by me and an able team of producers. Cost to the tune of at least $20,000, which that has gone. I've taken care of that already, so that is like something present.
But what in the Paul? Where you manumu asem? Stone boy asem in control so you NDC ni. Ono ne boy nyom emayedi 2 MPP amanyokuo ai. Mimi a park me mwakwa abapa. Ono share that boy nyom di 2 MPP amanyokuo no. Even though he benefited a lot indirectly from the MPP government. Jimmy. Why go amend them? Why go? What happened, man? Why? You come a batty man? Yeah, why go and say? Now one ask one question to my friend, Storm Boy. Why go? Now man a batty man? Hey, a bomb clad boy them. Ask them for me, man. Them call him if he come here. I want to ask that guy, what happened, man? Now what thing come into your mind, bro? Huh? Now batty man you come to foolishness. Yentu asuri yenko yenim Stone Boy or ye Jimmy 4% na mnim say we Jimmy sir. Na mnim say Stone Boy we Jimmy sir. Yentu aso still in the artist side. Yentu ado.
I'm on a payroll with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Since he started work, every month I go collect something small from him pay inside. So when they pay him, they pay me.
So what you? Oh, hey, I wonder, hey. I wonder how come say hey in other countries wo okoha enkrofo mo agidin no enkrofo mo agidin no ewo man no they completely, even if they associate so omo de omo ho bata man yosem ho a omo nye enkrofo mo edidi wa man yosem mu. But I don't understand why in our country called Ghana, enkrofo mo agidin a nke wo se nko mo nye self-sufficient to provide for themselves, you know, all of a sudden omo ye enkrofo no omo ye the parasite of our economy. Because ampanyi no yasema oka Jimini what you be YouTube onim ska obenya di enkwasiafo mu di wachi nyina. You are still dependent on the political what. Hey, this is Jimmy, we a producer. I could see you saying, are you not ashamed? A grown-ass man, catch you say you are dependent on the president. Abaning a tiawoka, onye jumapia, kurasini. Enti Jimmy ni be say, uhuno not radio so, not tiam, and this, not doing say, ya de papa bin and this ya bind the brewa, obwa. He's talking about his stomach. And he said, okay, or the pay also. Mahama Pianaka every month for not doing nothing. Why not person made a young no? When they pay him, he pays me. Obwa. And your chronosika. You are part of those men. Yama Ferris Usukwa Chikwasi and paying 70 million Ghana cedis on for Piamoka. Hey, guys, these guys, you are very funny. Obam abrochiri hanoma enkrofo from VIP anase from men, recognized men, famous people, no, they generate income for themselves and sometimes they even donate money to the political parties. But you kuromunkwa there Jimmy Fuanu nyina, they all depend on politicians. And Tuba now build Ghana to become America. Now push sikan kugu omu bottom daletira. They will hate you and they will do everything to get you out of office. This is what happened to the MPP. Yes, MPP are more than home modern. Now no kwasi ampanyi na jete power and so and na mesu sa ban we buy your maniska. What the video no?
Are you serious?
That's my guy right there. That's my big brother.
Are you saying
him? They chop the pay, and I think for 6 months his paid income, because I think he dedicated 6 months of his pay to, I think he was doing some Mahama care.
Yes.
So we make our look some way small at the time, but we resumed. You know what I'm saying?
So Mahama pays you at the end of the month.
That's my guy right there, man.
How much a month?
Why you won't know?
Oh,
you won't make IRS. You won't make IRS come to me. No, man, that's my big brother. It be family matter.
Yeah.
You know, they look after in younger brother. So, you know what I'm saying?
1 year in office, how would you rate Mahama's performance?
400%. You don't have to even think about it.
Bacha uti asema kweka ye. Asem na kweka ye uti ni ye. Tie ni ye pa. Asem ben ena kwai eka ye. Asem akweka ye mantiasi ye. Is he telling me say John Mahama pays him for what work done? Ajuma ben na akwa we yo to we why yo dia magana manya ena menu sunti no bosumi bia ye wura John Dariga Dramani Mahama etigana sika edemano. I need an answer. I need a serious answer about this. But these are asem we die efri nipa na nkasa num na ebawo enya me na meka. He is the one saying it. Say Triane Kaposumi Bia. He is being paid yearly. Monthly Trianeka. Adentia Oyendisini. Mimia Guy Thompson, Memoakwaba, Parke Michiao. Yeah, I think yeah. And yes, I think I've greeted everyone. Yeah. And Papa will see Triane Kaposumi Bia because he's an MP NDC person. Yanto Asuden Koyanim. Babam. We have allocated 292 million for sanitary pad to benefit 1,000 girls in Greater Accra. Bigger achievement of Linda Okro, or the mayor or the regional minister for Greater Accra. Obetra konyaso afeba akon ene bosome mienu nie no ekomi ensano. Mami we say menka nkyere na wonte ho ase se adwuma awayo ene se omo atumi anya sika no 292 million cedis a omo de koto sanitary pad e de amama bawusam ema mami ye Yemona suma na se yemona sum. Yemona ya na sum ana yemona nsam. Bona sum. Achievement no. Bona sum biem. So what? The job that this fucking woman has done. Ajuma mami we yaye. And say he has bought sanitary pad for 1,000 girls in Accra, Greater Accra. Enti emo yen semano. Na he nkrofo omo yare o. We dey mamemfa picture we nchiro. Mamemfa picture we nchiro. Sama me kro na o se emo yen semano because what to sanitary pad amamba no. Where radio. I want to see the budget omo use your omo change the name from Kotoka International Airport to Accra International Airport. We picture ni ye. Omo ye careless. Chese Kene da hono kurano. Sika na omoji ye no. Enso so omode beto paint. A painti ke no free ho. As such a big international airport in the sub-Saharan African area, a destiny to a lot of brains in Africa. Omo to me enye sika ampepa ke na free ho. Enti basa na adwene na wu. Adwene no awu. Enti maame ne se bo nsem ma no. Na me de make se bonasum e ma no tie. Yes. Enti maame ne se ye monasum because we Jimmy na juma oba ya watumi aye nyina se wato sanitary pad de ama amanfo. Hey, udi agora wo besere, but to sere so enye yie. Na wo de ameba na wati asemi. Mo ka John Mahama. John Mahama in opposition tie.
24-hour economic clock. 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. Obi abedidi. This is the 24-hour economic clock. 1 job, 3 shifts, 3 people. Obi abedidi.
Why na covered Mahama su bedidi? This was when he was in power, when he was in opposition. You want to hear what he's saying today? Listen.
Big push. Apparently, young couple of Bushia will be via big push.
No, sorry.
Station no. Some of it here. And maybe a tremu. You see, you know, and be try a simple from. Now, at your how can say a buy? Okwa na empty and a sea canopy. Nani party I say. Big push. Apparently, young couple of Bushia will be via big push. Ya Yesika. Jene Stampa, Ya Yesika. Obia Kaprenka home. Sunjani Outer Ring Road, Ya Yesika. And Sikano Etaho. And Makacha contractor for Nina. Say you were Juman Tem. Nafa certificate brand in Chioka. And to make us say, a Juma or my big push thing in Menoka say, ye free in crime. Anything out of us in Antimiyama or on the office and almost signing almost certificate, say, Omunchiomoka, Coffee Job, Outer Ring Road, the certificate count, Nasea, Ombetianica. Into a bebo on Humbusia cement and Abibia, my team watcher, and Chebia, Nisika Beba.
Abusan for video na member na ye mistake. Video na pese muntie.
Big push.
Okay, well, in any case, Abusan for him say ma making mistake. Me download 2 video bia. Na ye ura Mahama ka say amanfo nkonko ye adwuma because ensano adwuma na sika wom. From 24-hour economy to monko ye sabio ensano juma abusiamfo me breko ma biefo last na to mutumi frɛ na wache wadwen kakra meso say uba no what keep no low what keep no short. Yes, I have somewhere to go. In any case, me da mu nyina ase abusiamfo, I wanted to go further but my time is up. Enti me de mo besia na ma biefo last na to na amanfo so monso motumi afrɛ akyerɛkyerɛ madwen sɛ de be ye obia so ebenya kakra aka. Yes.
Enya papa. Enti se wo ya sim registration a.
Anyway, moment forget to them fancy video no any hon to them. Ma be phone last na to mutumi frɛ na wakyerɛ wadwen. Ama nsɛm a me de ba ye ɛno aho ɛna yen stick to. What we spoke about is what we are going to talk about. And it is official. Mahama Ursula Owusu-Ekuful say yes, in fact, she's a competent woman who can respond to any accusation. Aye fraudulent, na aye lies, na aye dishonest. And Mahama Ursula Owusu. Ebeda was ye pa, anyway, Juma pa ne, wabo edi atre yen. Amayenya GD say, yes, in fact, yawo ema papa, ewe yemo. Yo, Mami yemo akwaba. Miya Anthony yemo akwaba. Hello. Mr. Anthony. Ajale mo akwaba. Pacho yo na nso e. Yeah, the young couple answer. The young couple answer. Yeah.
No be an dream. Then immediately now come on the man no. Ono so timenya bi no so dia be. Na me hwe no so no man ho bai.
Yeah.
The toss on so Dr. Baumia. Ono so yesi nya kopon. Nshira na ho den ne bambo enso de man ba bia wo dwumedi okodi ye no. Owi a Nyankopon ka na ho no fa na medu fie som dwiem no bedu a ye de aseda amanyame. The toss on so ye chema ho ntumi enim se nyame be yi na firi wo hawo ne amane ho wo mu no. No so abeboa ye. Ona bo kakra metimi aka ne se on say ha no abrofo na yebeto wo mu ha sei no nyo mu nyina nanim nyansa o anyansafo wo mu na jimifo nso wo mu mebo aka chem sem
e pio pa e no kore pa
sa de ti hello
bra yetonka pa kasa yetio yetonka pa
fo na yebeto wo mu ha sei no anyansafo wo mu o ana jimifo nso wo mu pa sa na ti e wo ye ma ganem ye hwe MPP fo enema omo ba omo ye no a ti se nyansa ekuta omo pa na ndisi fo no so de o hwe enema omo ye ni de we bo so omo kan agimi fo no do so papa o ndisi enti Ghana enko so nyina na ye ndisi fo no fi se agimi fo no wo mu no do so pa enti so omo beka ene enema omo ye nyina mfa ne kwam card ya ye wie mane ewu na ka se card na ewu ntimi bia renew foforo de a enti ase wa dwuma so jo no kuta ye passport ekuta na enwu ya utimi sa ko renew man ye is a passport na wu ansa na ko renew documents bi ekuta wa enwu ya obetima ko renew na de na ya ye no enwu ye won sisi me ko na foforo asa akoye na foforo we nyansa wo enye jimi a o we sa de no ana president nso o ti so papa panimu a odi o man nyina so se bia dwon papa wo tirim ana wo dwena o man ho a nka kora we be ka asukwa no ma we be kasa we a anka wo ba be obedina kira sa be support say na de no sei so on ti Ghana ho na e wo no anyansa fo no aye MPP fo no ana Jimmy fo no so ye NDC fo no ni ma mo ye bia nso mfa ne kwam ana de ke sense ka ye de say ye jema secretary no fa nancy form kana Japan ni ma wo ye no still no what party ko form the base you be huna na afi na se nyama bebre enti mesrem bebre mu amanu du dwomo no ese musom kasa na kana ye de say kodua otimi di na nasi fom no ka bibi check na Japan eni ma wo ye no e kai na tintina no ye wo tintina no apeso wo na be president adna ya to aba wo lose tintina kana Japan say so no kwa anti Ghana krom ho no na se MPP party kana Japan kwa ni nyansa na so no kwa na wosika ya to aba wo lose nyankwa na lose ye o say dutum o lose ye omo no mko nyina bra champion o lose obi anya sa ye wonko a e de be na wo hwe makwa mo obi abem se de waka so wo program bebre a wo ye no enti bi chemi nua ba Esther wo se me chen bebre me che obi bia oba so bia se obi a na me chan so
me da se bebre bye me nua yankopon ka ho bye
on ka so bye
ye nua panyini Anthony Tony May Enterprise ewo Kantamanto odo na yete ne nka no Tony May Enterprise Kantamanto yemfre ya Mahama Esther ke bani ma na ene ni nkomo Mahama Esther
Sama from Michelle.
yemo mejo so Mahama o want to say hello
What's a maker?
meton kampa o want to say
Yes, what do Michelle was here for now? Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony, Antonio say
I got breakfast for the Anthony.
Also the bro we mo calculate into me nkabi.
Anthony.
Anthony.
Your friend is Mr. Mapo.
Mama mi tio ye pa.
Who can send you ho me the pa ka say. Me asem we madwene ho adwene much. Also, Mahama ko baby ano ko kasa na amanfo bo mu se bana citizens no. Omu to hold jobri. So what you say?
Yes.
It will cast because me na ma dwene ho ase ekrofo say yampa Jimmy Mahama be Jimmy mu nyina no. O ka asema na mada so bon se. Eti efe no me hu baby a Obasi wo mu na odi omo.
Yeah, Basi omo ye sheda obinum ko ho 2 days, 3 days as na Mahama ba. Yeah.
Yo, yeah, dan as why ade. Sam George there. Me feel say ohia psychiatry a tablet. Wa bodam kakra. Or ye arrogant, he doesn't respect anybody.
Absolutely.
Parliament, you said you know ye papa fan your kasa.
Yeah.
But and kura show. Na me edge and this for Jay-Z say ma omun leni bibi and free kwasiano hippopotamus elephant yes ma omun leni bibi and free no because as a young guy and a young lady so would leni bibi free sa arrogant mind wa u future no ain't me fa wonya day enkusi baby ya so what you say it no me dey me advice wo because some George wa bother on respect to bia also wo be sim card ye dey ma men so Islam so what me aye both aba be kasa one kasa in as a with media but Troy which means it still present what she said and from me kai pa tam na omuka so mo be sim registration ne added to Ghana card no. Because see dun katia no eno ne Sam George no kokoye. Ye hu ya ne so omu nyina ko register omu bibia. Meboa.
Yeah, bebre pa.
Na ewiase. Wotna se na wosi kontompo. Enye waduane kontompo nye wo bibia present to publica. At the end of the day no, in future wouldn't na wiase nche a woman and never pay price of it.
Yes, of course.
What you say?
Yeah.
Because that what we call and I mean some George and you are about forever. One day you will go.
Yes, of course.
Was so. It's a dear and I will be the by any day. And I'm free to can I move go on. It a bit to me a show ban is 100 years as can be up to 200 years. No, it's kind of better. So what you say? It's and probably Ghana card no same no. Me kunu Mr. Mafu over me no. Nini na settle bia answer uko Ghana. Na so pesa unanti a uhia Wi-Fi na udia nanti.
Yes.
Unkuta sa Ghana card ne ayina. Ukwana ukotopu wa ayina ewo we telcos no wa enya ade omo ye mam. Omo hia wo Ghana card to present the chip now we are the we use no.
Okay.
Because also I have said to the kana wo pie na wo refu card that you busa wo date of birth near you na no more link about but Ghana no omo ntumi nya saade no omo nim say what the card wo kra no ntumi link saade omo nim ye because of security reasons they want that your Ghana card no represent at the wo kwaye wo ho so what does it it's me person me do some George says a debate sin registration and will go register because me kwana me working a year white data as me ba ya get to white years do a black colors it would show bad ma baby abedru bia na wo fi sa wo phone no enya adwan no wa so sa Wi-Fi no na abake wo phone no so what you say enti ikunu kuta bia o say wo de oba Ghana de bia oba ha ni pa adwene Sana ya no work because I was some sad drab for a few na me kofa e de babe support chip na e da phone no na wa drive no ko no akofa ba it be some chest some God say the sa chip no connect wo sa niam we nyina e ye denti na me kunu okwa Ghana na say onkuta ne Ghana card ontumi use ewo enete ko bia it wonya ntro na odie no na Ghana for asunkwa didie because they say opanyini yira akra no so ye den ayira because Mahama no what den pro and the frakadam and what the abeji akonwa no and what the Mahama Bejina Kasabiana. He's teasing Ghanaians.
Yeah. And Anthony Ehuro.
The team na yina excess or teasing Ghanaians. So what I said, but that is not good. What to mission and none him for him. No one didn't try to what say. Yeah.
Emphata.
Oh, it's a bad time. Ghana for it was some harmony. More fee money. Na mbuya masum sa munni wax sa mo de kwa wax masuma. Mo ko pe bibi na mo fan wax masum. Because it's the other ban as soon say. No that would depend Ghanaian people so mba kwa queue bi no ma kwa akoye card ni chip bi mu dia. So mala because me say sa niema wo nyina wo ya ye wa dress ni wo bi bia tell about me aka say it will come in future bia ubi bia ukutabia no ebe link with the Ghana card ana meboa
yeah no kure pa aka na mpere
bebe bia ana Sam George ka etu opata so onim better sin Dr. Alhaji Mahmood Bawumia ana onim sin Islam ana se atifa mo onim sin wo nyina ana me bra Anthony manu nya wa yi say the base ombie no family na ya red me Mahama ati makuna dia check ya check Canada o famra say me ti hono say kodua so person saba na me boa me
yeah so person ba
o person ba me hu say because of wonu no ntino MPP for no mo kasa wo meet amasantin tax be brastati twa wo mo adapa just because of kodua but me pese me ma wo mo kasa ma kodua no ntie say as a leader sa enyama bi tutema e wo ukuo ni mu a wo to anu ntentem
yes
sa eya pese the base na ekoso kodua wate ana wonte ye but a person was saba no be presenting MPP meboa
yes I know okay
and on in shoelace eluzu one lazy ni ya o tu America na ebe yi ato because me gusa amanfo bebre kuma ne se o san abanto yen san fa nemra but deep down adwuma na wo sa wo ye wo ground no wunya nwie ya how can people have to lift you back to the air again?
It cannot be.
So what you say? Media ni say minimum say MPP abeji o ma Ghana. Na obia susu ni mu wiase say MPP ba. Wo hu broni emobo. Etumi ya ade bi to ho ema mo broni no wo ye den. Wo atiku bibi wo so. So what you say? Ebi na wo ka ga ya otunwum ya asem. Stone boy. Any Kramana or see a friend bulldog.
Nipa da sene fro Kramana.
Kramano. Sankrofo when you now was system nima. How can Ghana be well? How can Ghana be well, Mr. Maf?
This is a question.
Can I mean here? Who said you're not doing no, but Stone boy, not a year. Because no of them crack school. And also don't me was Jamaica for do how many years. Every year, we are not Afrotella or no Moba Ghana.
Yes.
I'm about me, Mamma, or discharge Emma bed. New patient to call on the new patient, Emma, or better. So what you say? The Baba could see or call Afrotella, Nitino. But when you Ghana boyfriend or the boy in the year, I will call every year. So what you say? Because of Afrotella, we. Etini pisa mi busa Stone boy say one na wo kofa ne baye no e die no wo ye e die activities e na ekoso ma mo nyom tofo.
Good question.
Mi pisa e die be ayi na etumi e boost to the industry say obi so na do ho no every year bia no you can say return mu nyina na omo ba na meboa
bebre kwa anya na Beyonce num nyina ba Ghana wo fa ne say
na eniema o boost mu industry at the mama artist no kra ayi ya fans the movie artist kwa ka say na yen so so But na Stone Boy anyamofe. Mudia ni say obimbra no one fasika emesem bottom. How can you stoop so low? Money that you doesn't work for it, how can you spend it? And according to Bible cry,
yes.
The car one sabon sa anya juma anya no. Now we spend no. Now who man who say ye tia woka. No what can who say obia Mahama buy your offer pay money tax. And a day your day amount. How can you eat that money and satisfy and not won't you do? Said you when you start. A business you may be trust on what baby I woke up because
Kasa me too.
who can say Nanaba Namwa and Mumbaya Yakokai Wabejina media no so work as
yeah.
Omuba said woman empowerment.
Yeah.
Mr. Mafu, me person me bustan Mascasa some will say, me person my ever wow to Nanaba Namwa say Ukromo and Mabe Prewa or Mumpo. But do you know at the same time, Nanaba Namwa, who bet to me as some money be a polish woman?
Yes.
And yes, I so no what Tom Moon, no what Tom, no what Tom Samina, at the book come with your commerciality one of sponsor. No, for money be to cool for money be raise the money from scratch. And not like your say what Japadia will be a say. Who crowd who first as one another number who didn't that. What the other say a baby mra, no one says someone will play. Because not no go to a mass late pens more. What you say? And no other money, Janon, let's say, we are the woman empowerment. Woman empowerment, my ass. Woman empowerment, my ass. A brown say, one another, and one new cocoa, nibu, and German in some city. You know the history of cocoa. You know the history of market woman. Huh? But also what for plane, what for flight, about UK, United Kingdom, so by woman empowerment. Does it make sense to you at all? Does it present you as a woman? Does it present you as a mother? Huh? It presents you how to recruit more slave queens. And present you said here, who be recruiting more slave queens because who's sorry about the car same. Shreme, I did to me do one appoint to say, and my way, men am you who say, no omutibia to say, no my brother to say, men am standing as a strong lady. My yes idea way and my way, or my me cheat afwa, between omutru babia, I can simply call say, yes, this is the woman empowerment.
Yeah, I made them. I made
them. At the end of my year, what the other some baby into come on, now look through more. End this but with the truth self now, Nanado FPP party buy no. Yes, I quite remember so what can be said and can free some classes if you ask you at least one more post over time before, which means I applaud you.
Yeah.
But the one moya no. And another one for man go baby and then that doesn't mean me guys who pass away your Obama me. Mimpu ba kukra. So what you say? And ma bebre wo UK ha omo ya prapra Vietnam dem omo betumi atobi o.
Bebre kwa.
Omo betumi atobi adadi me kan bibi wo baby said. Ase tira calculator ene mo calculator ye di koma ye nuanum krabufo no. Ye nyina ye betumi atobi o. Ye betumi aye be samafu kra betumi aye.
Of course.
But charity beginning at home.
Of course.
I was a crabbing number binu or ram no dear who presented our in kindness and son. I won't wire day. What presented who a problem? That makes you Mr. Mafu. That makes me Esther.
Yes.
The mobile Jinawa. What stumble? Who could you now can win? No one knew. One ewu and then music in a way. Yamutu. Yamutu. Music, no, brass, Nanad was one for huge artists for Europe for Mubaga.
Yes, baby.
What I said, but who stop by no so who so now crabby dinner for warfare at the I want bra. Se si akora no wo wo partner de ne bae no akora no wo hene. Bibisa mo. Why ya dia mana ye ya papa nya MPP amudu amukota na sie no. But one ma akora bi future asa akofo. One ma akora bi future ekofo. Etime de asama meka kire wa ne se why ya dia so de Mahama bae. But my young wood dear Mahama bae so why ya ma. My young wood dear anasa payroll na woda so no. And the ma wo ye gama na se payroll na woda so no. And the ma wo ye superior. No. The payroll money belong to a Jadinina or Titomuna warrior, the warrior yala, at the ashe, or do all quiet for Nadia, or better than a medic. People saw Stone Boy, people saw Bulldog, Knamine, Nanaba Namwamo, Munina, burn down your head in shame. Yame, Obebu Samunina. If Ghana move forward and get better, if a year in Aya Juma and Yamagana, I am better because we are presenting Ghana to the world. So yen na ya magana ko fom a yen na ye present Ghana emoguo e wo fom nyame onhira mo no onboa mo na mo dwuma mo ne mo niema boni a mo tikro mo wa mo die wo nyame onhira mo why ye ka kire mo na dati mo beja e wo biase esamafu ma minya
me da so ase ma me Esther nyame nka ho ye ma me Esther e na ye te ne nka no atin side of 4 yen nyina ye te ma me nka ai ninsema okano eto asum ai achechire nsem bebre Stone Boy boy abusan for me din Ras Media on YouTube and Ras Media GH on Facebook and on TikTok. Ras Media GH on Facebook and YouTube and on TikTok. Message say unsubscribe ya na wa ma wonsa aye won 10 na wa subscribe to the channel. So as I like video now, I will also encourage you to subscribe to my channel. So that there be ever live and I video but to Mubiano. Be one of the first people on sa ebeka video na what to me abeboa emajumade no akoso kama pa. But then I say kese ma me mama Esther for calling in. So answer be na say kese ma me or say Tony May Enterprise. Ton leather papa made in Italy leather. Open leather yedi kamu seat. Bet kamu edamu kunya. Ajuma bia yedi leather yedi eno ayene Tony May Enterprise. Ewo Kantamanto lane 5. Bomadre na kohono ne nkodi nkomo. Ade bia wo pa ye leather eho ene ajuma de. Ukohia na ono bedi nkomo pa kama. Na wa ma leather papa na wo de ye wajuma. Yento aso na yemfa nchia kese ma minua paake say thank you Mami Esther. Not knowing Bulldog is also a goat. Fantastic Mama Esther. You're too much. Stoneboy has proven to me that he is really a boy. Fantastic Mama Esther. John Dariga Mahama is a liar and propagandist. Sam George is all about chop. Fantastic Mama Esther, good evening. Fantastic caller. We a message from Parque. Yento aso Sami Jazi say from Hamburg, the propaganda type of politician like Mahama can never be entertained in European politics. Parque will say Atotosen. This NDC party is American Ghana. Yemia Ernest Afari or say I think Stoneboy don't think right. Parque any Guy Thompson Edio Moho Enkomo. Yemia Pa Thompson says good Stoneboy has come out to identify himself with the NDC. Now we are getting to know those who were with us and those who were against us, but were pretended. Yento asome ma me Monica me che oye pa nyankopon ema wa ho trentem. So good even. I'm doing good, thank you. Mimi fisherman say people should also stay away from the SIM re-registration. Richard, I'm sorry I'm late, brother. In fact, brother, you are doing a good job. Thank you, Mr. Richard. Mimi Kofi as Ghanaians must be worried about the state of mind of our president. Something credit is not right. Yemi about charity I know as to say hi Mr. Manfo, you're welcome. Mima Amenda and appear straight to the casa kama so wajumam. So answer my Mr. K but him say hi Mr. Manfo, you're welcome. Mimi about Diana, you can say bon lavoro. Questo da se lavora ando in ti do un buon lavoro. Spero che vada tutto bene al lavoro. Fisherman, greetings family. and Namia Ba Mercy Asadepe also say hi with a thumb up. Yemia or say Anthony also say hi. Michelle Munina Edamunina as a dinon sanda. The name remain the same. Ras Media GH on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Search for me on all the various platforms so that you can support me in my editorials. But I was say we bre. Now when me transe, I me do jumadi and breo. Me do besia and it's Saturday. I gotta go. Enti meda was pa na ma cancel so until we meet again. Adio. But me nyawkwa okoboy video no is still valid. Until we meet again. Adios, Macrao.
Honorable Yariga, my senior brother. Recently, some program were parliament also. Also, who said the government is coming to do 24-hour economy? It is a private sector initiative. Obi, did you hear that comment?
Hey, Obi.
No, okay. Yeah. So government was going to do it through the private sector. Yes, that's the idea here. No, like exactitude, I may not be able. But you understand that is what he said. MSc interpretation, PhD interpretation.
No, sorry, a lawyer. We do interpretation at the law.
I say PhD. Because Obi, but see, the more church the more perform pressure air cost. Obi. Sebi, and the Kufado, we had one district, one factory. If any program or every program that a government runs is perfect, one district, one factory might have its challenges, but the objective was clear. The objective was to encourage the setting up of industries that will add value to our materials so that we can create jobs in the value chain. The big deal is a 133. Now, if you are government and it is private sector you use, do you tell a private man to run 3 shifts? Is he in your bosom, Obi? Is he in the bosom of a politician to tell a businessman to run 3 shifts? Do you know what it takes to run a setup? Do you know what they call the wage bill? The person must look at his output and the money he gets and match it to his running cost expenditure, and then be able to decide how much is left to pay workers, and then do all that math. Is it for you to go and tell it 133? So when the NDC said 133, they were not talking about a private person, they were talking about the one that they had control, which is public sector. And typical of the NDC, they speak to a 133 when the first shift out of the 3 shifts, the wage bill to cover the first shift, you don't have the money. Men, my senior is here, are trapped by their words, but bulls by their horns. Even the wage bill for the first shift, Obi. Look, you think, with all due respect, John Mahama is a handsome man. He's been a president before. JM knew that on your convention conform his first step. Didn't you Obia or person on you so on him say there's something called a wage bill. But Obi, when he got to 2024, they told the whole youth that come on, instead of 1 shift, and I was on Metro and I said, come on, the only reason why you don't run 3 shifts just like that is that you have to check the wage bill of the first shift, Obi. And then Atoforce is telling you that under this recovered economy, when they pay the 3 statutory funds, he has to borrow to pay workers. He said that. You know, Atu is a fantastic guy. He's a very smart guy. He laid the preamble.
Is that he had to borrow to pay workers?
And now, until Papa, until the account. No reason following this.
Please.
Let me read. Hey, honorable constituency in the hands of Nyadajio. Nyama Kosuno. Number of me MP. Sometimes we choose our Obi share. This honorable 240
a quotation.
See, well, this is Obi. See this guy. This guy is an NDC blogger.
No. Let me get the
media quotation. Yes. Report. Yeah, please get a media report. Hey, honorable.
Because minim the kind we are.
Listen, the video is even there. Play the video.
Yes. Let me get the exact.
He said he gets 183 billion from taxes, and then when he finished paying the 3, he's left with 61 billion, and he has a wage bill of about 71 billion, and he borrows about 17 billion. All this is public figures. Hey, opposition they research they won't find their grow because
your friend say Dr. Okoboy.
Yes.
While I look for story, no, you wrap it up, mommy. When I get it, I'll read it. They do the
I hope you know who's there now.
Are they?
Some
story.
And then they do we are papa. Now dear me did I friend
battles be too.
Honorable. Say they say I now open all your MPT. We'll give you all the respect now. Oh, the MPC. The point I'm making say,
okay,
time now I promise you 1 job, 3 shift, 3 people. No, honorable at 2 force you are aware. Say the previous government and the Kufado no. As a country, Sika generating Utia District Assembly Common Fund, Utia get for now health insurance. Sika Ekano, Obesa Untia workers crowd. In fact, that's why our government brought a capping policy. And they're not capping, you say 17 billion on about 2 Boreno. I can open a free District Assembly Common Fund and a capping. Okay, there's a scanner the coin for 100%. Kone Yikakra. Okay, now insurance kakra, now you get fund, now Yaska. Edia tia workers momuzi munya kapi utia we no ato force ya my charges otua sa 3 ni wi a sika ka nsem no Ghana workers
okay me ba do kinji chobo.
Yes,
this is the finance minister.
Yes,
and as City FM shared on their Facebook page.
Yes,
I said government had to borrow 17 billion Ghana cedis to pay public sector wages in 2025.
Yes.
Yes. No, so in 2025, or Bobusiano did workers in 2025. But let me play the voice at least for the avoidance of doubt. Now, Obietimi at the minister. This is
to take a closer look at Ghana's compensation. That the 2025 non-oil tax revenue of 183 billion Ghana cedis was only enough to pay for statutory transfers and debt service. After paying statutory funds such as District Assembly Common Fund, Get Fund, National Health Insurance, and debt service, what was left was not enough to settle Ghana's compensation bill. In fact, government of Ghana had to borrow 17 billion Ghana cedis to augment the compensation bill. Your Excellency, I thank you.
Into a KCL at force and finance minister.
Wrap up.
Yes.
Brofosi augmenta. Me danyaman si me call Lego Presec. At least meeting ama we asikakra. Augment say I didn't so into upe bibi de apia amakosu.
Sure.
Obi. It means that even for the first shift, the 12-hour shift, 8-hour shift, this government has to borrow to meet. So Okobo, what I'm saying is that this government is the NDC as a party. Now on them say also run it shifts, it means you must have extra money to pay 3 times a wage bill. Obi, when you use smartness, duplicity, and you play games to get power, the victims of these games, they wait for you at the post in 3-4 years. So maybe more honorable short advice. Sometimes it is good to be calm and reflect.